my numbers are better than 15, 16 or so guys that are currently in the Hall.
Here's the handoff to Taylor looking for some cutback. He finds the room, look at Fred go. He's across the 30. Look at him run. Fred's going. He's at the 50, the 40.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
20, 10, 5, touchdown. 80 yards, Fred Taylor.
Talking modern day guys at my position.
When my name come up, respect it. Stop playing with my name. I ain't gonna right on it.
And here's the handoff to Fred looking for the cutback. He's got room on middle 10. Fred's there. He's at the 20. Fred's on the run to the 25 to the 30. He's going 40. Fred 50. Fred 40. Fred 30. Fred 25, 20.
Y'all saying my name, put some respect on it.
You look at the guys that are in the Hall of Fame from a defensive standpoint. Ray Lewis, Derrick Brooks. Look at all these other guys they're trying to put in the Hall of Fame.
Gerard on the give. Here's Taylor.
Put some respect.
Busting through. Fred Taylor making a cut. Taylor is gone. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
These the same dudes that I murked every Sunday.
When my name come up, respect it. Stop playing with my name. I ain't gonna right on it.
But he knows he doesn't have a big play team, and Jacksonville does.
Draw play. Taylor skips 2 tackles. Right, and here we go.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Brock Marion chasing. Brock Marion still chasing. Gets help from Smith. Touchdown. No flags. A 90-yard run.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome in Jaguars Today. Off and roll. What are you laughing about already over there?
Gonna bring it up?
Huh?
No. I'm laughing because that open always gets me with the Fred Taylor run.
I'm murked those.
Right, and it's the play-by-play of he knows he doesn't have a big play team and Jacksonville does, and then the next thing that guy, yep.
That's pretty
as
good
he starts
foreshadowing.
running, yep.
Yep. There it goes. All right. Well,
great.
You never know what's going to make you laugh on a Wednesday morning. Tony, our mock draft army is out in force already.
Yes.
Sending them in. We've got a weekly mock. I did take advantage of one Godfather offer to trade back from number 5 and pick up a couple of nice selections in addition to that. And but I did strive to mix in some new names today, and I find myself plucking some from your list, some from Dylan's list, some from my own, just to mix it up, see some different ways things could go down. So we'll get to those coming up today. Mock
I got
Draft
a lot
Wednesday.
of familiar names on my list ultimately of the guys that I took, but I did have some new. I was having fun. I will say this is about as much fun as I've had doing one of these mock drafts with the way that it worked out. And it's the first time that I probably restarted it 8, 9, 10 times. I was like, nope.
Right, because it's unrealistic.
Yeah,
you don't want it. Right.
I'm like, they're not, both offensive linemen are coming off in the 4.
Right.
Nope. Like, I'm not doing that kind of thing. So
I will say that in mine, you had Cam Ward, you had I think it was Membo was the offensive lineman, and then you had Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter. So I felt like that was pretty realistic if those guys went and the Patriots take an offensive lineman. I'm not even sure they're the team that took the offensive lineman, but I figured those 4 are a pretty fair representation of 4 guys who might be gone.
yeah, it wound up being Ward, Hunter, Johnson, Carter went. I was like, okay.
Ward, Hunter, Johnson, Carter. Okay.
Yeah. So it's the 2 primo guys were off the board. Ward had come off, and one of the offensive linemen, I was like, fine.
Which, Johnson or Campbell?
Campbell.
Campbell,
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've seen Will Johnson, the Michigan corner, start to. I don't know if he ever fell or not.
No idea how anyone feels about him.
I don't
right
either
now.
because he hasn't run. He hasn't been healthy enough to work out. He wasn't able to do anything at Michigan's Pro Day last week. So anyway, Tony Pauline scheduled to join us in about an hour and 10 minutes. So we'll get into a lot of draft Pro Day stuff. You know, he always has some nuggets from the Pro Days. Hey, who's this team looking at? Who is that team looking at? Which teams are meeting with which different players? I will say this, Jalen Walker, I told you I've got a growing like for the Georgia linebacker / edge, or, you know, the linebacker with pass rush chops, something like that, if you want to describe him that way. He said, Tony said that Georgia's Pro Day, every team in the top 10 met personally with Jalen Walker. So, which would be very interesting if the Titans were really interested in him, other than, you know, maybe the Titans are sitting back thinking maybe the Jets come up and make a swing for the fences and try to come up here and get Cam Ward. That would be maybe the only scenario I would see where that could be possibly in play. Now, we've got Russell Wilson signing with the Giants, and we'll get to all that coming up as well, and how that could impact the top of the draft with the Giants. Are they now able to pass on Shedeur Sanders if he's sitting there? I mean, they can anyway, but is it more likely, or
have they heard that Cleveland is in on him?
Maybe so.
Right, like that kind of thing.
And at least putting themselves in position to prepare. So we'll get to that. But what Dylan thought we were maybe laughing at right out of the gates here, I don't know a whole lot about Wesley Steinberg, but he is his Twitter profile says he's an NFL and New York Giants insider, ASMR sports representative. I couldn't tell you what that is, quite frankly, but he tweets out yesterday that the Giants will take a visit from Travis Hunter and his entire entourage this week. Hunter's family, girlfriend, and even his girlfriend's boyfriend will take a tour of the facility. Dylan Denmark, our unofficial pop culture correspondent, keeping us abreast on the pulse of young America. What the hell is going on here?
You know what I know.
Come on, man.
Tony came in, he told me the tweet, and I just started busting out laughing because for the ones that don't know, his girl was in a music video a couple years ago, and it got resurfaced like right after he got the Heisman Trophy. And Travis Hunter deleted his Instagram, got off social media for a couple weeks, and now this comes.
Well, she was in the video with what? With her,
some rapper. I have no idea.
Who is that? Her former boyfriend?
I have no idea. And she was dancing on him and all this stuff, and everybody was like, "Man, you got to get rid of her." And all this.
But if it was before they were together,
I think they were still dating at the time.
Okay, see that could be an issue.
Yeah.
The issue is he's supposedly engaged to her, right? I don't care about their personal lives.
No.
Other than will the drama spill over and have any kind of negative impact?
It's the only thing that I've heard about Travis Hunter in this entire process that makes me go, what?
Just kind of
it makes me a little nervous.
Now, that being said, Tone, he was able to focus enough to be a Heisman Trophy winner and the best two-way player we've seen in decades.
This doesn't affect him at all. It affects the conversation around him, right? And he's obviously unbothered by any of this, but every time that it comes up in to whatever small or big degree, what in the world that someone would be sending out a tweet saying, and his girlfriend's boyfriend?
I mean, unless something got messed up in the communication and it means Hunter's family, his girlfriend, and even his girlfriend's boyfriend, meaning Hunter, and he that. Right. I mean, he is, I guess, more than the boyfriend. They're supposedly engaged, right? They're fiancés. I don't know, man.
It's just the way it's written. Family, girlfriend, and even
quite frankly, I don't care. I really don't care if it does. If the Jags draft Travis Hunter, I don't care what his personal life is like if it doesn't impact him on the field, and it hasn't shown any negative impact to this point in time. But
this ain't surprising for anybody that follows this, it's not surprising.
No, I've heard that there's been some of this, and there's she came out and gave an interview or was quoted as saying, he was never my type, Travis Hunter, and basically Travis Hunter had to try to win her over.
Yep.
And I also just doing a quick Google search that she brought him a brand new car or vehicle for his birthday in 2024. Where is that music video money that good?
I don't know. I mean, she may have a not good enough following on Instagram to have a
maybe so. I don't
consider an influencer.
Are you an influencer in any way yet?
No, I'm not an influencer yet.
You're not?
Not yet.
Nobody watches you on Twitch playing, Madden or whatever?
No, sir.
What's your game that you would stream on Twitch that you would be most impressive in?
NCAA, but I'm not even that good in that. So. No.
Not much of a gamer?
That's the only game. Call of Duty ruined because so many nerds just play the game all day, and I try to play it casually, and then you get on and you die every corner you come out of, and you're like, okay.
So you're upset because somebody's so good at the game that you try to derisively just call them nerds.
Yeah, because they don't have a life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if they're better than you at video games, they don't have a life.
Right.
What about the people that you're better than at video games, so they think that you don't have a life?
Yeah,
you're just better.
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to. Because that's probably how I would frame it if I were you as well. I just wanted to see if we're kind of coming from the same area there. So today, Tone, there's been a lot of brewing in Orlando. Camping World Stadium is going to infuse $400 million into their place to upgrade the facility down there. They haven't yet agreed to terms on the Jags playing there in 2027 in Orlando, but I just saw a story today that the Orange County PFT had it. That's what caught my eye. Orange County has approved $10 million in budget to lure the Jaguars to Jacksonville. I'm like, what is that $10 million spent on? They don't give it to the city of Jacksonville. Is this for fancy dinners for Shad Khan and Mayor Deegan? I really don't know. Yeah. What do you do with $10 million? Hey, we have $10 million. Convince the Jaguars this is the place to play. How do you spend that money? I'm not sure how that all goes down. But today, the question of the day, because you've probably been beat over the head with so many draft questions, and we love the draft, but you probably need a little bit of a breather for it. We asked you if the Jags do end up playing the 2027 season in Orlando due to stadium renovations here in Jacksonville, which is, I think, the most likely landing spot right now, but it's still Gainesville in the mix. How many games do you think that you would attend? Would you be a season ticket holder for games in Orlando and make the trek? Would you go to maybe about half, somewhere around 3 to 6, 4, 5 games, whatever, not an exact number, but more than just a couple. Would you go to maybe 1 or 2? Like, I'm going to go make the trip, see what it's like playing down there. Or are you just going to say, you know what, this is a TV season for me. I'll catch them on television when it's all said and done. So we'll talk about that as we go along today as well. Russell Wilson signing with the Giants. How does that impact the top of the NFL draft? We've got our 7-round mocks that we did at Pro Football Network this week. We'll get to later on this hour, because in hour number 2, we're scheduled to be joined by Sports Kita's Tony Pauline, breaking down all the latest from some of the pro days going on around the collegiate world as these guys prep to be selected in the upcoming April NFL draft. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark here with you. If you want to be a part of the program, 641-1010 on the phone lines or the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, where you can text us a screenshot of your mock drafts if you've done one this week, or hit us up on social media and you can tweet us those at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
I mean, you got one guy, Tony, who's got a girlfriend, who's got another boyfriend. I mean, can we get Denmark a box of Girl Scout cookies to start and then maybe a date after that? I'm not sure. Also, don't forget the YouTube virtual studio chat.
Not with the Girl Scout, though.
No, maybe a former Girl Scout. Yes, that would be good. That would be good if you would avoid that. Let's go. How old are you, Denmark? 24?
27.
27, man. When did that happen?
I guess I started doing the show.
The last 3 years, right? Oh, man, I guess you're always going to be 24 in my mind. 27 years old. What's the youngest young lady that you would consider dating?
23, 24.
Okay. All right.
So I couldn't go back to college.
You're okay.
So
you'd like a college graduate aged young lady, right? Maybe she doesn't have to be a college graduate. Maybe she's an entrepreneur, right? And just
or postgraduate, started
her own business. Yeah. Maybe she's getting a master's degree, something like that. So, eligible ladies out there, we crush it with the 23 to 24-year-old female demographic.
Oh, that was our demo
on Jaguars Today. That's our main demo, honestly. So ought to be plenty of them hitting you up at 1010XL Denmark.
I've joked around with plenty of friends about that. They're like, you're kind of a celebrity. I'm like, yeah, 50-year-old men.
Yeah, right. all those middle-aged dudes love us, man. Are you kidding me? All right, so we got a lot to do today, as we often do. 2 hours to do it, so let's get rolling. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey for Awaken 180 Weight Loss, recognizing what they've been able to do, not only for me, but for so many people here at 1010XL, so many people in Jacksonville. The word is out on Awaken 180. They can help you lose weight quickly, safely, effectively, maintain that weight loss. No medications, no injections. Who wants to inject themselves all the time to lose weight just to go off the medication and put all that weight back on? There's no strenuous, rigorous exercise regime you need to follow. You're going to eat to lose weight. Awaken 180 is going to help you turn your body into a fat-burning machine. You're going to fit in your car better. You're going to swing the golf club easier. You're going to walk around the neighborhood with more comfort and less discomfort, which is very important. You're going to maintain that weight loss as long as you follow what Awaken 180 tells you to do, because free coaching and support for life is the backbone of their program. Yeah, they're going to help you lose the weight, but then they're going to help you maintain that weight loss as well. You can sign up next, get a free consultation at awaken180weightloss.com. That's Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Jaguars Today. From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Oh, childish, immature, and selfish? That's right, I am.
Dan Hicken.
Do you know how much money I make for thinking this way?
Jeff Prosser.
My hobbies are fast cars and fast women.
They are the drill.
Can you be any more dramatic?
Mornings on 1010XL.
When it comes to towing products, your safety is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
Out with the old, in with the organized. Mia here for my friends at Closets by Design. Freshen up your home this spring with a custom organization solution. For a limited time, take advantage of our spring special and enjoy exclusive savings on closets, garages, home offices, and more. That's 40% off with an additional 15% off with 12-month special financing through April. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation with Closets by Design.
Make the most of every lawn with Kubota commercial landscaping equipment. From the productivity-boosting Z700 mower to the reliable SVL track loader, it's a lineup built to get the job done right. Because when your reputation is on the line, you need equipment that will never let you down. Visit Coastal Equipment in Jacksonville or McClenny.
Greater power for the great outdoors. Coastal Equipment.
Coastal Equipment on New Kings Road and in McClenny.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on 1010XL. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Guys, your lawn's the home field. Now you can champion your St. Augustine grass. TopDressing.com just hit Jacksonville with a game-changing patented process. Aerate and transform your turf into a fairway-worthy masterpiece. Less water, shorter cuts, and the envy of every neighbor. No one else delivers a perfect 10 lawn like this. Visit TopDressing.com and dominate your block with the same process that golf courses use. Top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
If you've been in an auto accident, you can count on the experts at San Jose Collision to return your vehicle to pre-accident conditions. San Jose Collision can also provide a fresh paint job to freshen up your vehicle or completely change its appearance. They can paint and repair all foreign and domestic cars and trucks. When quality and professionalism are important to you, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
She's very comfortable talking sports and hanging out with the boys.
Mia O'Brien here, still providing the best multimedia sports coverage in Northeast Florida on 1010XL radio, video, and social channels.
All things Mia are driven by Arlington Toyota.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WEALTH to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WEALTH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WEALTH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy-efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Come visit the best sports restaurant in town. That's Big Dogs in Orange Park, known for great burgers, huge wings, pizza, salads, and special nightly events like trivia and karaoke. You'll all love it at Big Dogs Restaurant in Orange Park.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
I got a few things I want to look at today. By the way, Dylan thinks the account, the Wesley Steinberg account, is just being trollish about this based on some past tweets. Like I said, I don't know who this guy is, but that's the thing about the Travis Hunter saga. It's when you hear it, you're like, damn. Like,
he still hadn't gotten past this?
Well, I'm just saying, if it had happened to somebody,
that's
right.
The reaction is, what?
Yeah.
Why is this still going on?
If anyone, okay, well, oh yeah, him, and yes, I kind of could believe that, but it seems a little absurd. But that described as NFL and New York Giants insider. I don't know what, again, ASMR sports are. It could be all made up stuff. I have no idea.
He had a tweet about 2 weeks ago saying that the Giants GM firmly had his thumb planted up his butt.
Yeah.
So I don't think an NFL insider would ever say
How do you know that's not true?
I mean, it's possible. I don't know. There are some accounts that who went Adam Shine. Didn't he go off on something like yesterday? Like to a degree, you'd be like, what are you, 15? You know what I mean? Like one of those things. I think it was him who tweeted something out there yesterday. Oh, yes, that's right. Social media. It's still a wonderful cesspool of nonsense for the most part. But, hey, have you checked out the Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day, by the way, on Twitter? Please do cast your vote as to how many games.
Not exclusively.
No, for the most part. Yeah. Exactly. So, anyway, Camping World Stadium pouring some money into the venue, Tony. It is. I mean, look, we knew that it's nothing official yet on any front on where the Jags are going to end up playing in 2027, but I think that most people feel that it's leaning in the Orlando direction because, the hotel rooms, everything that comes with it. So it's interesting that they feel the need to go out there and entice Jacksonville to wine and dine them a little bit. It would seem like they're hey, we're pouring $400 million into a stadium upgrade. We've got they're going to expand the seating capacity to 65,000 there, so it'd be a solid NFL-sized facility with some improvements made, and but they still feel like they need to at least sweeten the pot a little bit. It feels like with Jacksonville, they project on an 8-game home schedule, because I think that year the Jags would be playing 8 in the States, 1 in London, with the 17-game schedule. Some years it's 8-1, some years it's 7-1 is the way it goes. But that their economic impact on a per-game basis would be about $20 million. And I think, is there a $20 million economic impact in Jacksonville when the Jags play here? And I'm thinking, I'm guessing no, because this is like new money coming in from the outside. They would project over a full season. These are just the numbers that they're talking about. 150,000 hotel rooms purchased over, or hotel nights purchased over the course of just folks coming to Orlando to watch the Jaguars play. And probably some people, in Jacksonville might do that if they, decide to take a Monday off, especially if it's a night game, if they get one. And, you're not just going to drive down, come right back. A lot of people would probably go that route, but I'm sure some would try to make it into a more of an extended stay.
Yeah, Orlando strikes me as one of these places that is very desperate to not be a one sports town, all that much longer. Like, they have the Magic. They've brought in MLS, I guess, so they have Major League Soccer in the area right now. But they feel it's a city that continues to try to make itself bigger. They feel like they're bigger than just being that, the NBA and Major League Soccer. Like, I can understand if Orlando would be a little bit frustrated when they see what's going on with the baseball teams in Miami and Tampa, right? And the fan support that the two major league clubs get in the state of Florida. that are not that far away from where Orlando is. Why are those two cities the places where this is happening? Why can't it be Orlando?
Why can't it? But you could also make the argument, well, why would it be different in Orlando?
I agree, which is why I don't think it's ever landed in Orlando. And that's why when the conversations come up around Jacksonville and NBA and Major League Baseball, and they come up every now and then, I'm like, I don't know what that would look like in Jacksonville. I know the NFL works here, right? Like, I know the NFL works here, but I think that's because the NFL will work just about anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, any city in this country that has an NFL franchise to support, where you are committing to, that, 10 weekends a year is what you're having to give up if you're a fan of that team to go see the home team in your home city, like that kind of thing. I don't think that's a hard sell. Baseball, you're talking 80. Basketball, you're talking 30. These different sports is a different degree of commitment to what fans would have to do. The NFL is the NFL. So anywhere it's going to land, it's going to get the fan support that it needs to support the team.
Here are a couple of quotes from a piece from WESH.com. That's the NBC affiliate in Orlando. Florida Citrus Sports CEO Steve Hogan told the Sports Incentive Committee about launching his pitch to try to lure the team there. Said, the opportunity to host an NFL regular season game has always been an ambition by our community, and understand what it is to grab that tourism component. But an entire NFL regular season, I think, would be an opportunity too sweet to miss out on for our community. So, again, they project $20 million per game as a conservative figure in terms of economic impact. But this is the paragraph in this that has me thinking about this from a couple of angles. We plan to open. Keep in mind, $400 million of renovations don't happen overnight.
No.
We're doing a lot more than that here in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But we plan to open by the end of July 2027. We plan to open. No construction project has ever had a delay of any kind, right? I mean, is that cutting it a little bit close here? We plan to be ready heading into August when it's time to play preseason games. That's the plan, right? That worries me just a little bit.
No doubt.
About the timing of this whole thing. And they continue on and serve nicely an NFL regular season. And this would be awesome to finally happen in this town. This is Hogan speaking. And not only a huge boon to tourism, but an opportunity to maybe show the country and the world that this is a major league town and we're ready for that next major league sport to choose Orlando. So, yeah, buddy, you better hope it's like the Rays moving there or the Bucks moving there, because I can't see any way in hell they're putting a third NFL team in between Tampa and Jacksonville. And then you've already got Miami, 4 teams in the state. I mean, California has a bunch of teams. I get it. California's bigger, too, geographically, population-wise, what have you. Fine if you think you want to lure the Rays away from Tampa. I could care less if they're in Tampa or Orlando. What difference does it make?
Sure.
Make an easier trip if I want to go down and catch a couple of games if it's in Orlando.
Yeah.
Don't think this is your preparation to, because look, we're locked in here now, buddy. You know, if the Jags were displaced for some other reason, not to have their own stadium redone, and they were in Orlando, all Orlando would be talking about would be how they're going to snatch his team.
Yeah.
Right? That's all they'd be talking about, which is why I never liked the idea of spreading the wealth around. Hey, why don't we play one game a year down there? Or preseason game? Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Even that, though. You're depriving the people in Jacksonville who want to see the Jaguars. You don't get that many opportunities to see them. We talk about them all year long. You got maybe 10-ish opportunities, including the preseason, to check them out.
Yeah. Look, Orlando has felt like a city that has wanted to expand it. As I said, whatever their sports footprint is, they've wanted to expand it for a while now. So every opportunity like this that comes up, I'm not surprised that the city of Orlando, the people down there are talking about maybe this will open the door for X. Right? If I was in Orlando, I'd probably feel the same way. Yeah, let's try to get something else here. That'd be awesome. I'd love to have Major League Baseball down the street. Yeah. The NFL's going to come to town. Yeah. I'd be in favor of all those things. I'm not in Orlando.
No, right.
I'm in Jacksonville. So my concern is all for Jacksonville. I'm fine if Jacksonville plays the season down in Orlando. I don't care what the long-term outcome is for Orlando. Good for you guys. for having hosted the Jaguars for a season. You're not going to be landing an NFL team, though, between here and Tampa.
And to be fair, they did say major league team, right? In addition to the Magic, obviously. Doom says the hotels in Orlando will be the away fans. We play the Bills that year, the Bucs. The Jags will have no home field advantage that year. Most fans I know are saying they won't go at all, which brings us to the Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. Right now, 55% voting exactly that way. I'll catch them on TV. Now, keep in mind, if you live across the country, you don't typically attend Jaguar games anyway, that may be your response to this poll. And I didn't try to make it, just narrow to the people here who typically attend home games in Jacksonville. Yeah. Anyway, 55% say they'll catch them on TV. Another 29% basically saying that they'll go to maybe one or two games. So you're talking less than 20% say that they'd go to half the games or more, which would be a drastic difference if we ran that poll about the returning season in the new stadium in Jacksonville. All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back, 7-round mock drafts on the table. Let's see who we selected for the Jaguars in this go-round. Next hour, Tony Pauline from Sportskeeda will talk a little draft. And what did Russell Wilson signing with the Giants do, if anything, to impact who's likely to be on the board for the Jaguars with pick number 5, with the Giants selecting at 3 as of right now. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
Palmer the throw, and he's sacked back at the 11-yard line. And it's the massive tackle, Marcus Stroud.
Jaguars pride forever. 1010XL.
This is the Mangler. Years of playing football coupled with lifestyle left my feet mangled with neuropathy. I was experiencing burning, tingling, and numbness. I spoke with 2 foot specialists, and they told me there was no cure. They were wrong. I found Dr. Nate Riddle in Ponte Vedra. After utilizing his neuropathy treatment for only 2 weeks, I noticed a difference in my feet. I was regaining my feeling and balance. If you want relief from nerve pain, call Dr. Nate for a free consultation at Riddle Wellness, 904-395-5598.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Everyone seems to be in a time crunch these days. Well, don't forget you can always count on the cold case at Daly's. Always convenient, always cold. Whether it's the king of beers, Natty Light, Stella, or Cigar City, of Goose Island, or Bud Light Seltzer, dash into Daly's and grab one to go.
It's Awaken 180 Weight Loss Wednesday
on Jaguars Today.
Golf lovers, listen up. UF Health Jacksonville is bringing you an exciting day on the greens with their inaugural Golf Classic Friday, April 25th at Amelia River Club. It's your chance to tee up for a cause supporting Northeast Florida's premier academic health center while enjoying a top-notch golf experience. Sponsorships are available. Whether you're looking to showcase your brand or just play a great round of golf for a great cause, now's the time to get involved. Visit ufhealthjacks.org/golf to learn more.
Plumbing problem? AC acting up? Septic tank trouble? Don't waste time calling 3 different companies. Just call Duck Duck Rooter. We offer plumbing, septic, and air conditioning services, making it easy for you to work with one trusted company and one simple bill. Every department has highly skilled experts trained for the job. For fast, reliable service from a company that does it all the right way, call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com.
Get to know positions and players. The 1010XL Ultimate Draft Guide is brought to you by Blue Haven Pools, the #1 pool builder in Jacksonville. Follow rankings and roundtables as the draft takes shape. Go to 1010XL.com/2025 draft guide to get yours.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the country that offers multi-unit hair grafting, FUE NeoGraft hair transplants, and the 45-minute effective PRP treatments.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
Thank you, IHRS.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Schedule a free evaluation and find out how to grow your hair back and keep the hair you have. Call 904-777-IHRS. Take the first step to restoring your hair today. Visit hairforme.com.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years.
Call now for a free in-person or virtual evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Picking here for About 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of About 9. Visit About 9 Associates today and experience the difference. About 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
Youth sports at the YMCA's focus on teamwork, discipline, and building confidence. Our experienced coaches can create a positive and supportive environment where your kids can grow, stay active, and develop a love for sports. Sports like basketball, volleyball, swimming, gymnastics, and even elite skills training. Join the fun and register. Give your kids a chance to be a part of something special. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Work it, make it, do it. Makes us harder, better, faster, stronger.
Now more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, let's see how we applied our general manager skills this week. Tone, I don't know. This is mock draft version 8, 9, something like
in there.
that.
Yeah.
In that ballpark. Denmark, how did you handle the first round? Did you get any significant offers, and did you take any of them?
I did not, but I did pick somebody new that I haven't yet in the first round.
Okay. I did feel, as we talked about, guys that were interested in outside of pick 35, and starting with the Jags pick at 36, guys who expect to be available. It just maybe broke the mold a little bit on some of the players I was looking at, and definitely infused a few more of them in today's mock. All right, Dylan, who did you take at 5 then?
I took Armand Membo.
Oh,
the
you
offensive tackle
did?
in Missouri.
What's your plan with Armand Membo?
He's probably going to play guard first year and then go to tackle.
Okay, who's he displacing?
I don't know.
So
These are great questions.
Battle it out. They are great.
If I'm drafting offensive lineman at 5, he's going to start somewhere. So
I would hope.
Yeah.
Like if you draft him in 5, he should be able to beat out one of the guys that you have.
Well, and it's the questions about that are exactly what they should be. Where's he going to play? Right? Like with any of these guys, if they're going to draft somebody in the first 2 rounds, where are we playing them? Because you're drafting them in the first 2 rounds. But especially at 5, it feels a little crazy to me if they were going to go into the offseason, if they took one of these guys at Membo, say, at 5, and go into the offseason saying best 5 will win. Right? Well, where?
Right.
Like, where is he competing to be the best 5?
Is he your left tackle?
Right. Like, are you saying that he's going to compete with the other 2 tackles we have on the team and the best 2 guys are going to be the tackles? Okay. Like, I can understand that being the way that plays out, but whew.
Right. Does he get enough reps at guard to show that he's deserving of starting right away? And if he's not deserving of starting right away, then do you switch him to tackle? And like, how does that? I'm not saying you can't do it.
No.
I'm just saying you got to have a plan.
They will. I would expect if they do it that they would announce a plan beyond best 5. Like, I would hope there's more detail in it than the best 5 are going to play, because then we're all still asking the same question.
If they draft him, they obviously have an eye on upgrading one of the spots. And, we look at, I think the most replaceable spot is Hainsey. And again, he's new. He got benched in Tampa last year.
Yeah.
He knows the offense. They bring him in. He's fine as a bridge center. Membo's not a center, so he's not going to compete for that spot you wouldn't expect. All right, so Dylan goes, Armand Membo out of Missouri, offensive lineman. Tony, what did you do at 5? Did you get any good offers?
No good offers, none that I took. No trades in this draft for me at all, and I wound up going with Mason Graham.
You did?
There at 5, yeah.
Okay, because you wanted me to take a nap.
Has become in this conversation the way it was that year with Joey Bosa, right? Like, everyone was like, I'm tired of talking about Joey Bosa.
Right.
I'm tired of talking about Joey Bosa.
And again, maybe a brilliant pick, Mason
right.
Graham.
Like, and by the time you get to the draft, people are,
that.
I'm tired of talking about Joey Bosa. And it's like, yeah, but it's the right pick.
I just like a little something different. Like, I saw,
get it.
Bucky Brooks put out his 3rd mock, and he had some different things, but for other teams, right? He had the Jags taking Mason Graham. Bucky had 3 running backs in the top 20.
Yeah.
He had Genty, I think, going to the Raiders. He had Omarion Hampton going 10 to Chicago, and then he had Travion Henderson going 20 to Denver. So who's to say, right? All right, I did get an offer that I felt like was too good to pass up. I'm staring there, and I could have taken Mason Graham there. He would have been the likeliest pick. But again, I don't love the idea of going with a 3-technique defensive tackle at that spot, just because of what I feel the fits are on this team. Again, if they go that way, I'm giving this new regime the benefit of the doubt to see how their vision plays out. Not, again, saying it's a bad pick, but Dallas wanted to come up. I thought they were coming up for Ashton Genty, right? But and I don't think they'd give this package for Ashton Genty, but I got 44 and 76 out of them. 44 would have been on the borderline of enticing enough to make the deal. But with 76, I felt like I had to do it with an eye towards taking Jalen Walker and seeing if he would fall to me. And he did. So that's what I did in the first round. Immediately he's going to battle to be a starting linebacker, and he's going to be your 3rd edge rusher. And, with a long-term future as just that, probably a linebacker who's got pass rushing chops. And if one of your guys gets hurt, maybe he can play, some end on a more regular basis. But anyway, I've been falling in like with Jalen Walker of late. All right, so that's how we handled the first round. Those guys didn't pick up any extra picks. Dylan, roll through your selections for us in the thought process, please.
All right, Armand Membo at 5, offensive tackle. My plan was to load up on the offense, and then the way my first couple of rounds went, I didn't have any value. For example, Walter Nolan was still available in the 3rd round for me.
That's crazy.
Was, bizarre. 36, I went with safety Xavier Watts from Notre Dame.
Okay.
70, D tackle from Texas, Alfred Collins. I thought that was good value. 88 went with corner from Virginia Tech, Dorian Strong, physical corner on the outside. 107, Dylan Fairchild, the offensive guard from Georgia. And then here's why I go offense. 126, Dante Thornton, receiver from Tennessee. 142, running back RJ Harvey from UCF. And then the last 3 picks, I go linebacker from Iowa, Jay Higgins at 182. 194, Q Robinson, edge from Alabama. And 221, B.J. Adams, the corner from UCF.
A lot of new names in there this time around. All right, Tony, run it through for us.
2nd round, obviously Mason Graham there at the 5th pick. 2nd round at 36, Grace Abel. He just happened to be there still. North Dakota State, we all know the reasons for that.
Did Bucky's mock have him in the top 20, I think?
And
I'm like 18, something like that.
And then 3rd round at pick 70, wide receiver Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State. Besh, who I had on my list, obviously, yesterday among those top 5, he went at 68. So it was a couple
Just
picks
missed him.
before I could
He
get
didn't go at 68 in mine.
And then at 88, I went with edge rusher Josiah Stewart out of Michigan, who we've discussed plenty, including on my top 5 list yesterday. 4th round at 107, safety Billy Bowman, Oklahoma. Free safety Murray is the strong safety, I think, for this football team going into it. So if I'm going to draft a safety, it's more the free safety type that I would be looking for. Bowman seems to fit that. At 126, running back Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee. It feels like one of us winds up mocking him out of the Jags.
At 126?
Yeah.
Twinsies. Bam!
Virtually
this
every
week. We're twinsies.
Then in the 5th round, quarterback Dylan Gabriel out of Oregon. This is the earliest I think the Jags would consider a quarterback at all. In this draft, it's a mock draft. Like I said, I was having fun.
I've thrown some Kyle McCord in some of my mocks and guys like that. Sure.
That kind of thing. 6th round at 182, offensive tackle Jalen Rivers out of Miami. Interior depth for a team that runs a gap scheme, which is what he's described as. That's what the Jaguars seem to be. At 194, nose tackle Cam Jackson out of Florida. Tell us a little bit about him, Dylan, if you could, because I don't know much.
Sorry, who'd you pick?
Cam Jackson.
Cam Jackson played a lot better down the stretch of the season, the second half. If he comes to Jacksonville, he'd be a rotational piece. But, he's decent.
You know what? You're picking in the 6th round. You're hoping to get a rotational piece.
That's exactly what I want him to be. Rotational nose tackle. 7th round at 221, tight end Jackson Hawes out of Georgia Tech. More of what they already have on the roster, but I think they've indicated what they're looking for at tight end. They have it on the roster right now. So if they add another body at the position, I think it'll likely look like the other 3 they already have here.
I'm looking at this has got to be my favorite mock that I've done to this point. And part of it is because I got set up with the sweet deal, getting a couple extra picks. I feel if you even take out the extra picks, just remove them. I still kind of like what I ended up doing here. So I moved back to 12, and I took Jalen Walker, as I said, out of Georgia. So I've got my 3rd edge guy. I've got linebacker help. That kind of 2 half positions filled.
Sure.
And I don't need to apply anything necessarily to either one going forward. I got Kenneth Grant at 36. I think Tyleik Williams was also there. He was on my wish list yesterday of potential guys outside. I went with a Dylan Denmark scouted player in Trey Amos, the Ole Miss corner, with the extra pick I got at 44. The guy who was number 1 on my wish list yesterday, center Jared Wilson out of Georgia. He's the guy to me that can make this draft for this team if they're able to get him, especially if they don't have to spend a 2nd round pick to get him.
Yeah.
If they can get him at 70,
the way he feels like he's rising if he was available there.
He so clearly stands out at that position on these rankings. I did get Jack Besh at 76, so that's where he went 8 picks later than in your mock. But if you even to take Amos and Besh out of this, okay, you could roll with the corners they have right now. You'd still need another wide receiver at some point. But I got Mason Taylor, the LSU tight end, at 88. And I'm really starting to get into these tight ends now and trying to fit them to the profile of the kind of guy that the Jaguars would be interested in, right? They've got to have a physical blocking component to their game. I took Jonas Sanker, safety out of Virginia, at 107. Excellent, good fundamentals, great tackler, is kind of scheme versatile the way he was described. We both took Dylan Sampson, the Tennessee running back, at 126. I went with Savion Jones, the edge rusher out of LSU, at 142. At 182, a Gene Smith special, Clay Webb, the guard out of Jacksonville State. Right? Really profiles as a nice developmental interior offensive lineman. Probably not ready to play right now. We don't need you to play right now, but down the line. Aeneas Peebles, the defensive tackle from Virginia Tech. I've taken him once or twice before. Grant's going to be my nose tackle of the future. Peebles going to be a rotational 3 technique if he pans out. And then for, I don't know, maybe the 5th time, I took Brandon Crenshaw Dixon, the Florida offensive lineman. Again, a lot of length and athletic ability, probably needs to develop before he can challenge for a starting job. Maybe has a ceiling as a swing tackle, which is okay in the 7th round. So I loved this draft. I thought all the positions. I got a running back, I got a wide receiver, I got a tight end, I got 3 offensive linemen, I believe. I got 3 offensive linemen. I got 2 D tackles. I got 2 edge rushers, including Jalen Walker, who'll start as a linebacker. I got a corner, got a safety. So it's fun when you get a couple of extra picks to play with. So hit us up with yours today. Particularly interested in seeing some of the new names that pop in there, and it's always fun to see how many we have replicated from the submissions we get on Mock Draft Wednesday. Tony Pauline scheduled to join us in about 25 minutes. We got the thumbs up on his availability, so he's got a mock out, by the way. If you want to go to Sportskeeda, he had Mason Graham coming to the Jaguars, but he's got a lot of intel on all the latest pro days going around as these guys try to put themselves in position to get drafted as highly as possible a month from now. Hour 2 straight ahead. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Wherever you go, we go.
Those are the rules. I didn't make them up.
Download the 1010XL and XL 92.5 FM apps for free on Apple and Android devices to listen anywhere in the world.
It may be the key to the whole plan. Get it? Got it. Good.
Your hole-in-one for men's health is Ackerman Urology. With offices in Mandarin, Middleburg, Rural Golf Village, and the beaches, Ackerman will get you on par for any prostate conditions and sexual vitality. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
We've all been waiting for it, and now March is finally here. Show C for Hard Rock Bet. The only way to make the most of March is to feed the frenzy. Check out all the lines, the tournament's opening rounds, and don't miss out. Who's getting upset? Who's going all the way? Play right along with them at Hard Rock Bet or download the app. Super easy to play and win on the Hard Rock Bet app. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Enhance your home with Renewal by Anderson's exclusive 31-day spring event. Experience superior craftsmanship and timeless design with buy one, get one 40% off custom replacement windows and patio doors. Enjoy the ease of zero down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. This offer expires March 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Tired of supermarket produce that's traveled thousands of miles before you get it? Treat your family to farm fresh, Florida-grown fruits and veggies delivered right to your home with Doorbell Farms. No supply chain issues or questionable origins, just seasonal produce handpicked from local farmers. Subscribe monthly and enjoy the best local farm produce delivered right to you. Sign up now at doorbellfarms.com. Connecting real people to real family farms. Doorbellfarms.com.
Awaken 180 weight loss.
Jaguars Today, Wednesday.
Are you thinking about a pool for your home? Blue Haven Pools is Jacksonville's largest pool builder. They've built pools for over 20,000 satisfied families since 2000. It's never been easier to design the perfect pool for your home, family, and budget. Call Blue Haven Pools today at 904-620-0090 to get a free in-home estimate for your in-ground pool, or visit bluehaven.com. Don't let another summer pass by without a pool. Join thousands of happy Jacksonville pool owners in a Blue Haven pool.
Hey folks, Nick here for Zero Res. You're going to want to beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get one room Zero Resified starting at $53. Hey, and take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Don't forget about your air ducts. Your air ducts, sort of like the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, your indoor air quality suffers. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com. Tell them Dan or 1010XL sent you. Spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. ET here, and if you've ever been injured in an accident, visit my buddy Dr. McGowan at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. You have 14 days to see a doctor and protect your insurance benefits, even if you're at fault. And no matter what you hear, you have the right to choose your own doctor. So I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Their auto experts will guide you in every step of the way to ensure the care that you need. Your recovery starts with McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, buddy, you look worried.
Worried? I'm apoplectic!
You're what now?
I'm freaking out, Jason. Stupid water heater crapped out, so I haven't showered since Thursday. I start smelling a little funky, blow my big corporate job interview tomorrow. I'll end up settling for some dead-end career selling spatulas on the internet.
Dude, stay cool.
There's nothing cool about a cold shower, Jason. I mean, I know how that sounds, but...
Bueller Air & Plumbing can get a new water heater installed today. The day you call. You could be smelling fresh again by dinner time.
Wait, you can do that?
Put on these sunglasses.
Whoa.
Is that cooler?
Oh, yeah.
Well, life moves pretty fast. If you spend much more time smelling like this, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
It's March Madness, and your office needs a champion. Advanced Business Solutions teams up with Xerox to bring you copiers that never miss a shot. Fast, reliable, and ready to handle the pressure. Make the winning play for your business. Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions, where your business goes for the win. Locally and veteran-owned.
Print documents and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
How much do the performers for Super Bowl halftime shows get paid?
Filing an insurance claim following a storm shouldn't be an ordeal. Southern Oak Insurance's claim team prepares for catastrophic situations well in advance. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Super Bowl performers are not paid for their shows, but production costs are covered by the NFL, which could go as high as $15 million.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
If someone you love needs a pick-me-up, then it's time to get serious about it and send them a Kuhn floral arrangement. RJ here with 1010XL, and you'll be assured of a quality delivery. That's for sure. Log on and order online at kuhnflowers.com.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL local sports update brought to you by Lone Pronto. The Sunshine Showdown ended in dramatic fashion last night when Florida State's Alex Lodiz hit a walk-off grand slam, completing the cycle for him last night and giving the Seminoles an 8-4 victory over the Gators. For the Gators, they now have lost their fourth consecutive game and moved to 18-9 on the season as they get ready to travel to Oxford in a 3-game matchup against the 15th-ranked Ole Miss Rebels. As for the JU Dolphins, they grinded out a win over the UCF Knights last night with a 3-2 victory. The Dolphins took a 3-1 lead in the second inning and never surrendered. Dolphins junior Aaron Zennis got the win for Jacksonville, pitching 4 innings and allowing 1 run, 2 hits with no walks and 2 strikeouts. The Dolphins will next return home to the John Sessions Stadium this weekend to host Queens in the ASUN Conference Series, with first pitch set for Friday at 7 p.m. It's 75 degrees at 10:57. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air & Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
There's a piece this morning over at ESPN.com. If we have a few minutes, we may get into it today. Ben Solak, it's not going to take much. Just recounting his impressions of what every team did in free agency, what he liked, what he didn't like, so much about each. So we'll look to see where he's got the Jags relative to the rest of the league and internally what he liked about some of the moves that they made. But before we get to that, Tony, why don't we take a look around the rest of the NFL?
Now, Gems Around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Adam Schefter reported yesterday that sources have told him the Tennessee Titans will be bringing in quarterback Cam Ward for a private workout and throwing session. Ward said after his pro day workout earlier this week that the Titans have finally seen him throw in person, that should be all they need to see. Schefter's sources also indicated that the price for the number 1 pick has gone up after Ward's workout and the Titans' reaction to it. It is draft season, so trust these stories as much as you want to.
Honestly, I think the best hope for Jaguar fans is that they take Cam Ward and he stinks, right? Because I don't want him to get paid off with some bonanza of picks to where you can miss out on half of them, but you luck into hitting half of the other ones and you improve your team considerably more than one guy might elevate it.
The New York Giants are signing quarterback Russell Wilson to a 1-year deal worth up to $21 million with $10.5 million guaranteed. The New England Patriots are signing wide receiver Stephon Diggs to a 3-year, $69 million deal with $26 million guaranteed. Baltimore has agreed to terms on a 1-year deal with cornerback Chidobe Awuzie. And the New York Giants have signed wide receiver Zach Pascal Minnesota quarterback J.J. McCarthy told the Up and Adams show on Tuesday that he is 100% healthy and recovered from the knee injury that cost him his rookie season there in Minnesota last year. McCarthy also said that the team has not told him that he will be the starter for 2025, though that is the assumption being made at this point, which McCarthy essentially said that he is glad that they haven't told him that because it keeps him working hard to try and earn it. Still whispers around Minnesota that they may be the ultimate landing ground for Rodgers. We'll see how all that's going to play out with McCarthy there.
All right, so let's get to a little discussion of what the Russell Wilson signing could mean for the Jaguars with today's 10-10 take.
10-10
take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
All right, Connor Orr over at Sports Illustrated laid out 4 different scenarios for what he thinks this signing means and the likelihood of each one being the accurate scenario. The first being the Giants signed Russell Wilson after becoming certain that the Browns were going to take Shedeur Sanders, and his likelihood of that out of 10 is a 2. So very unlikely. How would you know, right? Yeah. How would you be convinced what Cleveland's thinking is at this point in time? I would probably lose a lot of money trying to guess what Cleveland is up to these days. So, but at the very least, I could see it being a hedge against that. You know, we like Shedeur Sanders. We're not sure if we need to trade up or if we're going to be successful in trying to trade up. Maybe the Browns do like him, take him off the board. This at least protects us in that eventuality.
Yeah, look, I think it's interesting trying to figure out how much is Dion willing to put his finger on the scale for any of this stuff. You know, it's still this far into the process, which I think is the only reason you would have the Cleveland thing at 2 out of 10. I don't think it's because Cleveland can't possibly be more interested in Shedeur Sanders than that. That's crazy.
No, right? I think it's you. How can you know what they're interested in?
Like, what are they interested in? And is Dion going to be okay with his son going to play NFL football in Cleveland? Right? When the opportunity for it to be New York is 1 pick later. I don't know how much of a factor that still is at this point in anyone's thinking with what to do with any of these players.
I don't know if he will put his thumb on the scale privately or publicly, but I can imagine Deion Sanders, lover of publicity, wouldn't want his son playing in New York compared to Cleveland. Now, you can make the argument, if you elevate Cleveland to something no other quarterback's ever been able to do, to a Super Bowl championship, you would write your ticket for the rest of the time in Cleveland. Right?
Right.
I don't know how attractive that is. Option 2, the Giants still plan on drafting Sanders. If, it falls that way and he's available, he puts that at a 40% likelihood, 4 out of 10. I thought Florio at PFT, I know he's persona non grata for a lot of people. I thought he had a good point. Jameis Winston has $4 million guaranteed on his deal, right? If you cut him, and he signed somewhere else for the league minimum, there's an offset of about 1.2, 1.3-ish million on the league minimum. So in one way, it could, if you're trying to convince teams not to jump ahead of you and take Sanders, because you can't do anything about Cleveland right now.
No.
But if you're trying to say to the Jets or any of these other teams that might be interested in him, you don't need to get ahead of us because we've got it locked in, that they could easily jettison Jameis Winston if they wanted to for a minimal cost. And they're still paying these two guys combined, I think, less than what Daniel Jones, their former quarterback, is going to get in Indy, who's not guaranteed to start there either. Option 3 or scenario 3, the Giants were never going to take Sanders and planned on drafting Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter at 3 and a high-end developmental player in the middle round, meaning a developmental quarterback in the middle rounds. Puts that likelihood at a 6 out of 10. And he said, finally, he just thinks, because you're starting to see this in a few mocks. Sure, Sanders may be in for a bit of a draft day slide. Not out of the first round, but maybe outside the top 10. I don't know, man. It's hard for me to believe some team's going to believe him enough for what he did. 74% completion percentage in college. He's got a lot of things going for him. You're talking about he throws on the run too much. Well, that offensive line wasn't very good at Colorado. He was forced to do some of that. So if he's fine to take at 15, you know what I mean? Like if you're taking him at 15, I don't even know who's got 15. It's more about that idea.
Yeah.
If you're taking him at 21, if you're the Steelers, you're still giving up your first-round pick. It's the only first-round pick you have.
Mm-hmm.
There's no guarantee. In fact, I think it's unlikely that they'd get Jackson Dart in the second round, the Giants. I think Jackson Dart ends up going in the first round at some point. Either somebody trades back up in the back end, somebody settles on him as the third quarterback, Pittsburgh takes him at 21, whatever the case. But
sure.
he puts it at a 7 out of 10 that it's the likelihood is that maybe they're just not that interested in Sanders because of Sanders as a prospect. I think the one big factor in this whole thing is Brian Daboll's job security. He's basically on a year-to-year position at this point, it's felt. A lot of people thought they should have blown him out this year because if you're going to draft a quarterback, you want him on the same timeline.
You're going to blow him out after a year with the quarterback? Yeah.
Right. Like, hey, what do you expect us to do with a rookie quarterback in his first year? Does that buy me time? Well, you're going to have to extend him then if that buys you time.
Yeah.
Could it be a case of the Giants just saying, look, we need to win some games right now? And that doesn't preclude him, though, from taking Sanders because you can go and say, hey, Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson wasn't great last year. Prisco was killing him yesterday on Twitter. I get it. The Pittsburgh collapsed down the stretch, lost a bunch of games. He wasn't good in Denver the year before. No matter what the cost is, he's competent. He can get you in and out of your offense and do some of those things. He's going to protect the ball better than Jameis Winston. But other than that aspect of it, I'm not sure. I just don't want Jameis Winston at this point in time as opposed to Russell Wilson. But the money that they're giving these two guys indicates clearly Russell Wilson's ahead in the pecking order in New York right now.
Yeah, at least for now. And, I think the third pick in the draft could throw that for a loop. Like, they could still go with Sanders there and do all those things. I think thinking about it from the perspective of they'd rather take one of the two blue chip guys in the draft, I think it speaks to how much more they might value the blue chip over a quarterback that they feel he's going to be all right.
Might be all right. Maybe we can get Quinn Ewers.
Like, I can understand having that kind of thinking.
Or Arch Manning.
Right, from a Giants perspective. And I think the coach being on the last year of a deal, kind of, if that is the mentality going into the season for the franchise, I would, if it was me in that situation, I would be pushing even harder for just get the best player we can get at 3. That should be the only goal we have. The best player available to us at 3. If it's going to be Sanders because the two guys we love are gone, I can swallow that one, right? But if you're going to tell me we're going to bypass the next 10 guys that we have ranked on our list to go get Sanders, my vote would be no.
Right, but how much does the importance of the quarterback close that gap? Because if you look at, like, Saquon Barkley, oh, my God, how did everyone let him go to Philly? Well, how many victories was he leading them to in New York? They didn't have the infrastructure around him. So you could have these other great players. Saquon had an all-time season this year, right? And it didn't move the needle at all with the Giants because they didn't have the quarterback. They didn't have all the infrastructure. So maybe all the Travis Hunters and Abdul Carters of the world don't mean anything if you don't have the main guy. You know what? I'm just saying. I'm not arguing for or against. I'm just saying this is got to be considered.
But that's why I think like the 60% number's about right on that one in my mind. I think that's about right.
Well, here's the question for the Jags. It goes Cam Ward, and in whatever order, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, Mason Graham. Do you think there's a market enough to get someone to trade to 5 for Shedeur Sanders? Potentially. Because the Jets are looking like, are the Raiders going to take him? I know they signed Geno Smith, but there have been connections with Sanders and the Raiders, some of that talk. Do the Jets give you something to jump them? Are they even interested? Does some other team like New Orleans? A lot of people are mocking quarterback to them now, or at least saying that that's a team. Are they a team that jumps up? Or are the Jags stuck taking best player available, but the ones you thought they'd be choosing from are all gone at that point?
I think the overwhelming likelihood in that scenario is they're stuck.
And taking what?
Taking one of those offensive line.
Best offensive lineman? Could they take one of those Georgia pass rushers?
Yeah, I think that would be the position they'd be stuck in. I wouldn't be surprised if they got into that spot that it'd be Walker. That's where it would wind up
Would that be the scenario that it would take to get Ashton Genty's name on the card?
That's the kind of thing that it would have to be. Yeah.
You would think, right? But then again, we don't know how they feel about any of those guys we just talked about, their own internal grading on them.
And I think, we've talked about what the Jags would be looking for at tight end, right? I think Warren fits that. Like, if they're looking for a guy that is going to be a willing and productive potential blocker for him, if he's going to be asked to do that, he's willing and able to do that kind of thing. And he adds all the other stuff with it. Like, he's a monster at the tight end position. I've been thinking more and more about him in that kind of scenario, too, where if it does, everything else just bleeds away. Like, there is the potential for that kind of thing.
One of two things happens. Either you're stuck and you're stuck not having a guy you expected to be there. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you have some guys rated ahead of Mason Graham, and it's no big deal to you. And you're like, hey, that's fantastic. We weren't taking him anyway. Or maybe there is that team out there that goes, hey, I wasn't ready to jump to 2, but I can pay less and jump to 5. Would, for New Orleans, if they want the successor to Derek Carr, would they give you their first and second round pick for that? And is that enough? Then you slide back to 9, and in that scenario, I'd be all about it, man.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me? Because you still have the top offensive tackles. You'd have the Georgia guys. You'd have a lot of stuff available to you. All right, got to take a break. We'll come back. Tony Pauline on the other side talking all manner of draft goodness from Sportskeeda. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Jacksonville's other sports team. 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round 1 of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on Jaguars Today. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, your long-term solution for weight loss.
Florida heat is no joke. Is your air conditioner ready for it? At Duck Duck Air Conditioning, we've got a crazy offer just for you. We're giving away free AC inspections to our wonderful customers who now call and schedule. One of our expert techs will come look at your AC unit and make recommendations to ensure it's running at peak performance. But you must act today. A deal this good won't last forever. Call 904-862-6769. Duck Duck Air Conditioning. DuckDuckAC.com. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control. Mosquito season is upon us, but don't let them take over. The secret to a bite-free yard is starting today with Kingfish Pest Control. Their 3-step mosquito defense process stops them before they can spread. Eliminate breeding areas, build a protective barrier around your yard, and monthly treatments to keep them away all season long. The earlier you start, the fewer mosquitoes you'll have to fight. Don't let those suckers ruin your outdoor fun. Call Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Warm weather means the beach, fishing, golf, and more. Make sure to drop into Daly's and grab a cold case to go. From Bud Light to their seltzer, from Mick Ultra to Modelo, or your favorite crafts like Old City or Sweetwater. Grab and go at your local Daly's.
The month of March makes us mad.
This is mass madness, you maniacs!
And we love it.
Got a 3!
Experience the madness with 1010XL.
Served up hot by Hurricane Grill and Wings and Florida Pest Control.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and there's so many cool products that are on the line at Cycles of Jacksonville. Showroom is Atlantic and Regency, and we're talking, Greg, you've got from any level of price point, the experienced rider to the inexperienced on-road, off-road.
We've got it. We've got ATVs, we've got motorcycles, we've got scooters, we even have the new Honda boats. We've got something for everyone.
Don't forget about the boat line from Honda. It's all right there, waiting for you. Atlantic and Regency or Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you spend a lot of time talking about diamonds, but what about some of the colored stones we see?
Frank, when you talk about colored stones, there are literally hundreds of varieties and species in the gem kingdom. As certified gemologists, we're trained gemologically on the identification of each of these and can separate the man-made synthetics and imitations from the real thing. But at Underwoods, we can go to the next step. At Underwoods, we're active buyers of loose-colored stones in the world markets, so we have an understanding of the values of colored stones as they relate back to the various qualities. In fact, just like diamonds, we buy most of our colored stones loose, then create the pieces of jewelry to hold the gems. You can be assured not only of the authenticity and quality of our colored stone jewelry, but also of the value. So if you're in the market for a fine quality emerald, sapphire, ruby, aquamarine, amethyst, citrine, tourmaline, peridot, or any other gemstone, come by and see us at Underwoods.
If you're heading to the Og or you're already part of the nation's oldest, don't forget to drop into Sunset Grill. For over 30 years, serving up great chowder, seafood, wings, and cold beer. Sunset Grill, somewhere on A1A, St. Augustine Beach.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, our favorite draft guy is Tony Pauline. You should know that by now. And, you know, last year I felt like he thought we should have called him more, so we are calling him more this time around. It's about a 3-week cycle, and Tony Pauline from Sportskeeda back on with us on Jaguars Today. Tony, good morning. How are you?
I'm okay. Thanks for having me back even more this year.
We love having y'all, bro. I mean, if I felt like it wouldn't be imposing, I'd probably ask you to come on every week. But, you know, we try to give you a break. I know you do a lot of these. But anyway, let's get into it, okay? A lot of pro days going down, including recently one in Tallahassee for Florida State. Want to ask you your thoughts on two guys. Seems like the defensive tackle Joshua Farmer his draft stock is starting to solidify and get better. Azareye'h Thomas not running the kind of 40 you're looking for from a starting cornerback in the National Football League, using like in the mid 4.5s. Where are these two guys headed, Farmer and Thomas, as far as their draft stock is concerned?
Well, Thomas not running a 40 in a cornerback you're going to draft in the first round. I mean, he's shown a lot of ability. He was terrific at the Senior Bowl. You know, sometimes you just got to try it. You know, you're going to try him as a starter. He's going to be a day 2 pick. He's got the length. He's got developing ball skills. He's got plays with a physical, aggressive attitude. So, yeah, the mid 4.5s, I was told 4.57 is going to hurt his draft stock, but I don't think that anyone's going to look at him any differently. Say, hey, let's draft this guy and let's try him at a starter, a la Joey Porter. Joshua Farmer is someone who is finally starting to realize his potential. He was a guy who the prior 2 years, even going back to 2023 when he was considering entering the draft, showed ability in spurts, but there was a lot of inconsistency in his film. But when he's on his game, he's a big, athletic, explosive guy who can make plays on the football, penetrate the line of scrimmage, stop the run, occupy the gaps. I think he's done enough that he's going to get late day 2 consideration.
How are teams reacting to Restrepo's pro day workout down there in Miami and the reasoning he gave for why he ran what he ran?
Well, I didn't hear the reasoning. He's slow on film, but let's get a couple things, straight or, out there. he was never a day 2 draft pick. When I was saw social media and they said, "Oh, he's not a day 2 pick," he was never graded as a day 2 pick. He came into the season with late round grades. He's not a big body guy. He's a great route runner who separates from defenders. He's a tough football player. He's a reliable pass catcher, but he was never a vertical threat. He's more quick than fast, which often these days is what you want at receiver, because while it's nice to be a vertical threat, it's more important to be able to separate through routes. So, I mean, if teams had him as a 5th-round pick, they've moved him down to the 6th or 7th round. I still think he's going to get drafted, but you were never looking at him. You were never drafting him because of speed. He was never that type of receiver.
He, by the way, said he had a hamstring twinge and had been training. This is what he says.
Ran again and did all the workouts. Like,
right.
It's a weird thing.
Right. He ran twice, did all the workouts, said he had a hamstring twinge, and he thought he had been training in the mid 4.5s, and he thought he was going to be able to run like a 4.58 or something like that. And so we'll see. I don't know. I don't know. Like you said, not a speed guy. He does separate regardless of his speed. Good route runner and all that. Tone, I noticed, this is going back a couple weeks now, but in your write-ups at some of the various pro days, you mentioned Jaguar interest in certain players. One of them was Georgia defensive tackle Warren Brinson, who seems to really be doing more in the postseason process here to improve himself than he ever did on the field at Georgia. Tell us your thoughts on him, please.
A la Joshua Farmer. I mean, it's kind of comparable there. I mean, Brinson is a guy, and you're right about that. He was never a consistent player at Georgia, but then Georgia consistently, rotated their defensive linemen. They even did when Jalen Carter was there. But he's athletic. He's explosive. He's a big body guy who, like Joshua Farmer, is more than a gap occupier, can make plays. I mean, coming into the season, Brinson was rated lower than his teammate Nazir Stackhouse, but he's overtaken Stackhouse. And if you're going to take him, it's probably going to be somewhere in day 3 of the draft, the early part of day 3 of the draft. And you're going to hope that he continues that momentum that he has shown at the Shrine Game, at the Senior Bowl, at Pro Day, that is the real, Warren Brinson that you're getting. And sometimes the situation, it just isn't right for a player. A change of scenery is all he needs. And, depending on what they do in the 1st or 2nd round, if they haven't addressed the defensive tackle need, I think that's an area they look, or Brinson is at least a player they would consider opening round of day 3.
Yeah, I think they might draft a couple of them, right? They have 10 picks. I guess my question, in your latest mock, which folks should look at sportskita.com, came out last Friday, you have Mason Graham going to the Jags with the 5th pick. And I'm just wondering about the value of that selection. I'm not saying he's not worth it, but every time I go through the mock draft process, I'm like, man, could have this guy pick 36, could have this guy pick 70. It just seems like it's so deep that I'd almost want him to look in a different direction. But is Mason Graham that good of a player that shouldn't be a consideration?
I think he's a very safe player, and you don't want to miss, especially, a new regime coming, a new coach. This fits a need. You know what you're getting with Mason Graham. I also like Ted McMillan. Would they take Ted McMillan at that spot? Don't think they're taking Ashton Genty. Your other top players are going to be your edge rushers, Jalen Walker. They've invested so much in edge rushers, and have they gotten the return on their investment? Do you want to keep going in that direction? I think the sleeper, from what I'm hearing, for the Jaguars would be Armand Membo of Missouri if he's there. He's skyrocketing up draft boards, justifiably so. We can go over that. If you draft him and you stick him at right tackle, maybe you're able to move Anton Harrison back to the left side, which is more of his natural spot, and you could eventually help 2 of the more critical spots on the offensive line. That's something that's out there being talked about to keep an eye on.
Well, let's talk about Membo a little bit then. Why is he climbing boards the way he seems to be climbing right now?
Well, first thing is he's a good player. He's a good offensive lineman. I mean, he was highly rated coming into the season. His film in 2023 was good. His film in 2024 was better. And then he goes through the postseason draft process. I mean, you look at him at the combine. His combine workout was outstanding. And I know people say it's shorts and T-shirt. 6'4.5", 332 pounds, runs a 4.91. I was there for all the offensive line drills, and if you read my report on him at Sportskeeda, he looked like a 320-pound sprinter, the way this guy moved around the field. And you watch him play, he plays with a violent attitude. You know, he's not a passive offensive lineman. He really gets after it and tries to annihilate defenders. People will talk about the arm length at the combine being 33.5 inches. Well, the arm length at the Senior Bowl was 34 inches. And as I wrote yesterday, and I put out on Twitter last night and updated this morning, the arm lengths at the combine were anywhere from an eighth of an inch to 5/8 of an inch off. So he's got enough arm length. People think he is, with his size, with his arm length, with his athleticism, he can actually play left tackle in the NFL, which is why the Patriots will consider him at pick number 4. So, you got to protect Trevor Lawrence. You took him at the top of the draft. You hoped he was going to be your franchise quarterback. You got to get weapons for him, and you've got to protect him. I think Membo has to be part of the conversation because he's another piece, including what they did in the offseason to protect Trevor Lawrence.
If you had to guess, would the majority of teams have Membo as the top offensive lineman on their board?
I think he's going to be the first one rated. Someone told me yesterday, it's close between he and Will Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
I think Campbell gets the edge because he's more of a natural left tackle. He's got better footwork. He's got better range off the edge, and he's got experience at the left tackle spot. By the way, going back to that arm length question, Campbell was 32 5/8 inch at the combine. He was 33 inches arm length this morning at LSU Pro Day. But I think that Will Campbell's more of a natural left tackle, but he's a little bit soft at times. Depends on what type of offensive lineman that you want.
What position do you think Gray Zabel winds up playing in the league?
I think he's going to start off at guard. Some people think center. I think guard and maybe eventually kick out to tackle. I think you're going to see a lot of that with some of the college tackles this year. Maybe Kelvin Banks of Texas. I think Josh Connolly of Oregon. College tackles who will start off at guard and may eventually kick out to tackle. With Gray Zabel, I think it would be a right tackle spot as he gets bigger and adds bulk and strength to his frame.
You mentioned Jalen Walker from Georgia and the fact that the Jags have a lot invested in the edge position. The thought with him, with me, and he's kind of grown on me a little bit, is he can be a starting linebacker for you and then be kind of like that sub-package third pass rusher. Maybe they move Trayvon Walker inside. I mean, and I think that can be true with Abdul Carter as well, if he were to be available there. Does that seem like a plausible way to get him on the field and get enough value out of selecting an edge that high if you do have your two edges already set like the Jags do?
I mean, I agree with your analysis of Jalen Walker and Abdul Carter. People will paint them as edge rushers, but they're more than that. They are terrific linebackers. They can play in space. Go back and watch the 2023 film on Abdul Carter when he really didn't have his hand in the ground. He was basically playing in space, in pursuit and in coverage, and he was outstanding. You could tell then he had the makings of a top prospect. I also believe that's the same with Jalen Walker. When he was a rotational linebacker in 2023 and really wasn't asked to rush the passer. And even this year, the film, I mean, the guy is 20, 25 yards downfield making plays. So if you feel you need that type of player, with their selection, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing because I do believe that Walker will be as effective in space as he would be just rushing upfield.
How does Tyler Warren compare to Brock Bowers as a prospect?
Not even close. I mean, Brock Bowers is head and shoulders above Tyler Warren. They're different players. Brock Bowers was legitimately a 235-pound receiver. He was much more of a downfield pass catcher. He was much more of a pass-catching threat. Tyler Warren, he's a nice player. He was a terrific college player that was fun to watch because they used him in so many ways. I think Drew Allard targeted him too much and missed wide-open receivers. To his detriment, if you watch the film, Brock Bowers is an all-pro type of tight end. I don't know that Tyler Warren's ever going to be an all-pro tight end.
Tony, another Georgia guy I want to ask about. We did a top 5 list of guys that we think will be available in the second round or later for Jacksonville, and we love Jared Wilson out of Georgia as a long-term replacement at center. The idea was maybe we could get him with the first pick of round 3, the Jags' first pick 70. It seems like he is head and shoulders above most of the pure center prospects in this draft. Is that going to drive his price up over the next month to where he's going to go a lot higher than we anticipate?
Well, I would agree that he's viewed as the top prospect in this draft. He's going to be the first top center prospect in this draft. Will be the first center selected. I mean, there could be a team that says, let's grab him now because the rest of the center crop is not that good. But, you do have guys like Drew Kendall of Boston College, who I happen to like a lot. I think he's terrific center. He's not the athlete of Wilson, but he's more polished. He's got a much bigger bigger body of work. Jonah Monheim of USC, former tackle, moved into center this season. He's got a lot of upside. So I think it could drive up Jared Wilson's stock. I just have my questions about Wilson's game film. Great athlete. The game film, he doesn't translate that athleticism onto the field from what I see. He doesn't finish blocks. So I think he's far from the polished prospect. But what you lay out is the center of the future, so it's not a situation where you'd want him to start day one.
Are there any prospects that you've heard about teams removing from their boards at this point in the process?
I have not. That usually does not happen until draft meetings occur, which is 2 to 3 weeks before the draft. When they get together, they look at the background checks. I don't think I've seen the rumors out there. I don't think any team's removing James Pierce off their board. I'll say that up front. I don't think any team's going to move Michael Green off their board. There may be some medical concerns with guys, but I have not heard that as of yet. And usually that does not happen until a few weeks before the draft when draft meetings are held.
All right, Tone, last one for me today. You, again, in your write-up at somebody's pro day, I forget which teams it was, there was a guy from a school called Northwood, a safety named Stephen Douglas, right? And you said the Jags were paying a lot of attention to him, and he worked out at that team. I don't even know where the hell Northwood is. What can you tell us about Stephen Douglas? And is he one of those late-round sleepers we should have our eye open for?
I think he's more of a free agent. I don't think he's going to get drafted. He's a guy that'll be signed as a PFA. He is a tough run-defending safety that's very athletic. Missed a lot of last season with a hamstring injury. You go back to 2023, he was making plays all over the field. He's got to polish his cover skills and do a better job making plays when the ball's in the air. But as he showed at that pro day, he has the ability to do that.
All right, Tony Pauline, you can find on social media at his name, at Tony Pauline, or go to sportskeeda.com, KEEDA.com. You'll find his latest mock draft out last Friday. And I'm just going to tell you, we're gonna be texting you a lot in the next 4 weeks. We're going to increase the frequency here, my brother, and we appreciate the visits as always. Keep up the great work, and we'll keep marching towards the NFL draft in late April. We thank you for your time, Tony.
Thanks for having me again.
All right, buddy. There he goes, Tony Pauline. Don't tell me you'll come on a bunch more and not expect me to call you. Actually, Dylan will probably be the one calling. But regardless, Tony's fantastic. And so a couple more visits, hopefully, before the actual NFL draft goes down should be appropriate for us. All right, we'll come back, final segment, with some thoughts on today's Chat and Sandy real estate question of the day and anything else we need to sweep up from Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
For the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL. Buckle up and grab the wheel.
Keep your foot in it. Keep your foot in it.
This Sunday at Martinsville.
That's how you do it.
NASCAR is revved up by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 and 1010XL.
Top Dog Tavern is your gathering place for family and friends, offering something for everyone. Want a delicious meal served with a smile? We have you covered. Shareable appetizers, hot and crispy wings, juicy tavern burgers, fresh salads, plus a large craft beer selection. And there is nowhere better to watch all the big games than on our multiple TVs. Enjoy great food, cold drinks, and good times at Top Dog Tavern, located in Bartram Park off Old St. Augustine Road.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday
On Jaguars Today.
Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold hard cash, so you can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, often no appraisals. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day, so act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. Get the money you need for anything at 904-999-1508 or just go to LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town, setting the standard in our hometown. Quality service, the best around. Coolidge is the cat that cares about your heating and about your air. Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town.
Take a radio boat ride with Captain Cabin on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Wheeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services and Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
This is the Mangler. Years of playing football coupled with lifestyle left my feet mangled with neuropathy. I was experiencing burning, tingling, and numbness. I spoke with 2 foot specialists and they told me there was no cure. They were wrong. I found Dr. Nate Riddle in Ponte Vedra. After utilizing his neuropathy treatment for only 2 weeks, I noticed a difference in my feet. I was regaining my feeling and balance. If you want relief from nerve pain, call Dr. Nate for a free consultation at Riddle Wellness, 904-395-5598.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Your tax refund is here. Why not invest in your home? Superior Fence and Rail helps you build value with beautiful, durable fences that boost your home security, privacy, and curb appeal. With expert installation and financing options, turning your yard into an outdoor oasis is easier than ever. Reinvest in your home today with Superior Fence and Rail.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Your hole-in-one for men's health is Ackerman Urology.
With offices in Mandarin, Middleburg, Rural Gulf Village, and the beaches, Ackerman will get you on par for any prostate conditions and sexual vitality. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 87.
Hey, Dylan, remind RJ he owes you a quarter. He called you pockets this morning. You didn't hear it.
I did not hear it.
You didn't hear it because you're doing helmets and heels, right?
I am today, yes.
Yes, because I asked him about that. He goes, no, Pockets is doing helmets and heels. So I'm like, who? I don't know who that is. Anyway, you looked up the betting odds because we were asking Tony Pauline, what's the likelihood Membo or Will Campbell being the first offensive lineman? It seems like Membo has all the momentum. What does Hard Rock Bet have to say about that, Dylan?
They have Armand Membo minus 240 to be the first drafted offensive lineman, and Will Campbell at plus 190.
So you got to bet 240 to win 100.
Correct.
If Membo, that's what the betting markets are telling you. They anticipate Membo being the first one off the board. Those things are always funny, man. I'm always kind of surprised that. I guess you got to be careful. You that somebody doesn't get wind of it. Either who works for an organization, has a friend, but then all of a sudden that friend who usually bets $50 bets $10,000 on something like that, and it's probably not worth it. Maybe it is to the friend because they don't have a job to lose in the National Football League. All right, here, just Tony, quickly, let me go over this. Ben Solak over at ESPN put this out today, just grading every free agent class, and they ranked the Jags 19th. And that's not as important to me as, what they love and don't love about the situation. What he said he loved about what the Jaguars did was a return to competency. The best thing that bad teams can do in free agency is get veteran starters who will plug immediate gaps and raise the floor of the team. Both Patrick McCary and Hainsey can be starters, though neither of them signed a big enough deal to be handed the job if draft picks are suddenly outperforming them. Both De'Ami Brown and Jordan Lewis were signed to deals large enough that they should be impactful starters, but not so large that they'll debilitate the cap if they underperform. This is exactly how a new front office should reload a roster. Okay, that sounds mostly positive there. What I didn't love, the priorities. The Jaguars double-dipped at tight end, replacing the departed Luke Farrell and Evan Ingram. Imagine Luke Farrell getting mentioned first in that, not even alphabetical. With Hunter Long and Johnny Munt, but Brenton Strange is still presumably the starter. Well, we'll see what the draft brings.
Yeah.
With the Lewis signing, they secured the slot corner position. It's where Jarian Jones was strong last year. Now Jones has to transition to the outside to find the starting reps he clearly deserves. And the Jaguars certainly needed to add a receiver, but Brown's skill set is quite redundant to that of Brian Thomas Jr., a bigger speedster with great downfield reps. I don't mind the spending. It's just not where they already have talent. So I get that. But the tight end thing doesn't bother me in the least because they're getting those guys for less than Luke Farrell is getting, and they're getting two of them. And, I mean, not every signing is a frontline, hey, this guy's going to start. I mean, the fact that you're bothered by that, that's a little odd to me. Like, I get you had Jarian Jones, you thought you had an ascendant nickel corner. Why immediately go out and say that's the spot we need to upgrade or what have you? But like the tight end thing, I'm sure they had their eye on these guys because they went quickly, but it's like they're building out the room on these, and these are not any kind of big money signings at all.
No, and it is interesting. He's doing this article where he's doing it for all 32 teams.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's all 32 teams. He's committed to expressing the thing he loves and the things he didn't like, that all 32 teams did in free agency. For example, you can go down and look at Houston, right? And it's split between he likes that they had a plan to redo the offensive line in the second half of I didn't love the plan they had to redo the offensive line, right? Like, and for some teams, I think it's a bit trickier to see exactly what this would be. I think if you're from the outside looking in at what the Jaguars did, a lot of what he said about it was actually pretty insightful, right? It's not like a blank space with the Jaguars in his mind as to what they were trying to accomplish in free agency, which I appreciate. Right? And he points out that they bring in a guy that's going to play slot. They had a guy that was really good at that last year. Jones is going to play somewhere. Now it's got to be the outside. Like, talking about that being a thing that you don't love necessarily makes sense.
No, that makes absolutely.
Right. Like, those kind of things make sense from just the perspective of looking at what the Jaguars did. I think he actually hit it pretty close to what I would expect the reaction outside of Jacksonville to be to exactly what they did.
No, that's why the tight end thing stood out to me, because clearly what they're saying is they're going for a type at that spot.
Yeah.
And these guys fit that type, and they're with apologies to those guys, Long and Munt, the roster fillers, right? They're not guys that are, either one of them goes out in September should tilt the balance of your season, but they're good fits for what they envision the team wanting to do. All right, so today's question today, we didn't spend a whole lot of time talking about it because it's really more about you than us on this. Tony and I are going to do whatever the Jags tell us to. If
I
we're
voted
fortunate
just so I could see the numbers.
Continue to work on game days here, but over 220 of you have voted on this so far. If the Jags do end up playing the 2027 season in Orlando due to stadium renovations here, we know they're going to be playing somewhere. Orlando seems to be the most likely. How many games do you think you would attend? 52.5% said, I'll just catch them on TV in 2027. Maybe one or two got about 29% of the vote. They're changing right in front of my eyes right now. So 82% said, maybe one, maybe two, but for the most part, I'll catch them on TV. All right, 10.8% said I'll get season tickets, and they're probably the hardcore ones that you always have season tickets, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And then about half people, about 7% of people voted on about half. So it's like, I feel like it's I might go to one just to see what the experience is like, or I'm going to punt or be all in.
Yeah.
Kind of on that situation. It will be interesting to see that, they anticipate all these hotels. Will it be, like Doom suggested, will it be, road trip central in terms of what the Jaguars environment playing in? Are they just going to flood the place with fans buying up tickets to, hey, we can do Disney, SeaWorld, whatever, and our favorite team playing against Jacksonville?
It's an event in Orlando, which makes some sense.
That sounds like Hacker's dream.
Honestly, Hacker's dream would probably be to be like Bianchi's co-host, right? Wouldn't that be it? Hacker loves him some Disney in Orlando, man. There's no question about that. It does sound like his dream a little bit there. All right, we're coming down to the end here. Thanks again to Tony Pauline for joining us today. We'll have more goodies on the way for you tomorrow. Tom McManus on Friday. We'll welcome in Helmets and Heels in a moment, and then we'll close up shop here on Jaguars Today. So let's play them in.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
She was just off screen, and that was not going to do. Ladies and gentlemen, Mia O'Brien has adjusted the camera, and she's
I'm the
joined us
director of
now.
multimedia production here. That technically is my office title. So if I don't show myself on camera, I'm not doing my job.
Right.
So.
Well, we appreciate you adjusting the camera
no
for
worries.
us there.
That's what I'm
What's coming up today? What do you got cooking?
Oh, we got Robert Flores of MLB Network going to join us. If you can believe it, folks, opening day tomorrow. That really snuck up on us.
Yeah, my enthusiasm has waned with the raft of injuries that have
The Yankee
floated
season
into the
ended
Bronx.
2 weeks ago. I don't know what you're talking about,
Yes.
Mike. The 2025 season was a very memorable one, and it has already come to a conclusion. And I've made peace with that, and anything else is gravy at this point.
I'll still watch until they're like 12 games out.
Yeah, probably in like May. There'll be a day where I'm like, let me just throw it on. So
We'll see. They didn't have Cole for half the season last year, and they were
Competitive.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, more than competitive.
Yep.
So we'll see how it all goes. So, all right, a little baseball talk today.
yeah, a little baseball talk today. Of course, still looking ahead to the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 this weekend in college basketball. And we'll touch on a little bit of Jaguars as well. I want to make sure I get all of my news and notes. Of course, Florida State baseball last night ends dramatically with a walk-off grand slam for the Noles. There's at least one person out there who's going to say, well, technically, blah, 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 blah. But, hey, that's what the whole point of the show is. We will debate Florida State baseball.
Technically what?
Oh, I don't know. Like some sort of, Gator or Knoll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying that there will still apparently be some conversation to be had after last night's game in terms of where these
who's
two.
who, yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, where these two
I don't
teams
get into the
go. It's
college
a midweek
baseball
They are
tilt.
two of the best teams in the
It's
country.
a midweek
yeah.
tilt, even though Florida's fallen out of the top 25. At the same time, they've been ravaged by injuries. So, yeah, we'll get into that. Also, a little NFL draft talk. Do you two believe if I set the over-under at 2.5, how many running backs go in this year's first round?
Looking at Bucky Brooks, are you?
Maybe.
Bucky had 3 in the top 20. Yeah, we talk.
I would say under.
I
You would say under.
Yeah, I would bet the under for the first round.
Given that there's like 35 that are draftable this year, yeah, I would say under.
Right. Now, if Hampton were to go 10 and somebody was targeting him later, I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible for it to happen, but I would bet the under on that as well.
We will debate that and more coming up on Helmets and Heels.
All right, have a great show.
Thank you.
There you go. Mia O'Brien and Helmets and Heels coming your way. I've been looking for the right moment to mention this week. There's never a great moment to do this. If you are a Jags fan on social media, you know who our friend Stoff is, Stoffelis Prime, Christoph, and his wife Mina announced fairly recently, that they were expecting their first child in 2025. And, you know, he's a big part of the Jaguar online community. And he announced this publicly, or else, you know, it wouldn't be up in their business, but that they lost the baby. And I just wanted to send our sincere condolences. We love you, Christoph and Mina, both of you. You're great people. And, you know, life's giving you a setback, but it's not something you can't overcome. Easy for me to say that, I understand, but just know that all of Jaguar fandom who has interacted with you are thinking the best and hoping the best for you.
Yeah, wish he was close enough that we could get them out of the house and do something with it if they needed it.
I mean, just
honestly
devastating, and I don't need to go any further on that. You can just imagine what that would be like to get that kind of news. So just know that we're thinking of you, and we appreciate everything you've done and been good friends to us, and the future will hold much better things, I'm sure, for the two of you. All right, that'll do it for us today. Again, thanks to Tony Pauline, for Tony Smith, for Dylan Denmark. I'm Mike Dempsey. We'll be back at it again tomorrow from 10 to noon with more Jaguars Today right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.